Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M44, the Tier 6 American SPG, and we're located on the north spawn of Live Oaks under the command of Zin1983. Now, this battle isn't really so much about Zin, it's more about somebody who actually trolls him. And he trolls not only Zin, but also the Bishop, which is to his right. Okay, game started. Oh, lets the VK2801 go through. That's very nice. Now, based on the Walker Bulldog chassis, it's 155mm howitzer. And, well, look at that. Already we can see we've got a Chaffee, and he's trolling that Bishop there. I'll take off the mini-map so you can see what's going on. And Zin can see it. That Chaffee's pushing the Bishop about and trolling him. So he's WarPig1977. And he's just being a flaming nuisance. Instead of actually finding the enemy and highlighting him for the Arty, he was pushing the Arty about and trolling them. Now he's coming over to do the same to Zin. So we come out of third person view and we can see what he's doing to Zin. Yep, he's pushing him about. Just as he did to the Bishop. He's trying to make it difficult for Zin to aim at the enemy. And these little nudges and shovings disturb Zin's aim and make it difficult for him to get hits. And although we can't see it at the moment, he is still there. There he is. It's a fault in the replays that makes the little Chaffee disappear, but all he's doing is being a complete idiot. Or as Klaus Kellerman would say, an arsehole. Could be that he's actually trying to get on to the biggest arsehole, Klaus Kellerman's videos. They are quite funny, but also it's quite serious because what they're doing is stopping players from actually playing the game properly. Now you can see Zin is now aiming at the enemy. He's trying to get shots on a T21. The Chaffee has actually disappeared. He's now gone down to actually do some real spotting for a change. You can see him there. He's down by the lakeside. And Zin's now aiming at the enemy. He's able to focus on his job. And he's got an M4 crossing the river. Round out. I think that's going to miss. Yes, it just hit the water. And we just lost our T67 to their Arty. So it looks like their Arty wasn't hindered at all. And here comes the T21. Round out. Oh, he got a direct hit on that one. 255. It's not a full alpha shot because it's 550 is the alpha for the M41, but as the last remaining friendly tank has been killed on the railway line, he's going to have to scarper. He has to relocate, otherwise he's not going to be able to take part in the game for much longer. The Bishop's doing his best to run away to get to the lakeside, but I'm sure he's going to get spotted very shortly as well. Now, thanks to being on the M41 Walker Bulldog chassis, it is actually quite quick, the M44. It's not the quickest Arty in the game, that's the FB304. But it's still quite fast, and we've lost the Bishop. T67 got them. The team's now down 2 players, but they have captured the city. Now, Zin's finding a position, being careful not to knock any buildings down. Well, quite a few destroyed already, but he doesn't give away his position by knocking any more down. And he's now aiming towards the enemy up near his cap area. And this is the M4 dialing in. Can he get a kill? Fires a round in. And unfortunately, he doesn't get a hit there. Now, he's having difficulty with the aiming here at the moment, but he's extending his aim again. We're now down by 4 players. I wouldn't put that all down to the Chaffee, who's long since been killed, but he did upset the game because the bishop couldn't get too far at the enemy early on, and neither could Zin. And yep, they're now down still four, but they lost their Panzer Selbstfahrerfährte 4C, but he also killed their M4. It's an eye for an eye. And yep, the AMX-13AM is pinging the map for the cap because he knows that the enemy is about to cap. He's already been killed, and I think he was killed by the T-67, and the enemy is capping. But Zin is in a position, so he's actually in concealment. So I don't think the enemy can see him because there's wrecks between him and the enemy. So he's trying to judge where to put that shell. And normally the best place to put a shell when the enemy's in a cap like this is at the far side of the cap, because they normally try to stay away as far as they can from the enemy if they know the enemy's in the city. And he's now only got one teammate left, the OI Experimental. He fires a round into the cap at random. Doesn't get any hits. The OI is heading towards the cap, and he's found the KV-1. Got a reset there and took out the enemy KV-1. We still can't see the other capper. And there's a T-37, and he's just fired, so Zin has to duck behind cover quickly, and the OI is being hit repeatedly by that T-37. So Zin's decided he's going to do a shotgun. Goes around the corner, turns, steadies his aim, and puts one into the rear of that T-37. But he's facing 10 opponents, so I don't think there's any chance of him surviving this. Yeah, that's inevitable. But he did the right thing under the circumstances. He wasn't going to survive this battle, not against 10. Not when he was surrounded. And so that's all over. And here we can see the end of battle results. Well, he didn't get a huge amount of damage, but it was the fact that he was harassed by that Chaffee, and not only him, but the bishop as well, that actually led and aided the loss. If they hadn't been trolled, it wouldn't have been so bad. In fact, I think they might have had a chance to hold the enemy back, and then they wouldn't have lost so many tanks on the railway line. Well, you can see from the end of battle stats that the team didn't do that great. The most damage was actually done by the OI Experimental, and the M44, well, he did actually quite well, Zin. He got 491 hit points. It's on the high side of the damage on his team. And, yeah, the enemy team was just too good. In fact, you can see by this chart that their T-67, who got a Pascucci's, did very well. He got 4 kills, the Wolverine got 3, and their VP got 2 as well. So, yep, the enemy did quite well in this game, and even though it was a loss, Zin still managed to make a profit out of the game, 1,018 on a free-to-play account, and some XP as well. But really, I think the lesson to be learned from this battle is that if you harass your own team, all that's going to happen is you'll lose the battle, and as a consequence, you will then end up as a bit of a pariah because people will name and shame you. And this is the person to name and shame. WarPig1977 of D-R-S clan. And I'm not going to give them a shout. I'm just basically saying you have got a troll in your midst. And all he's doing is dragging your name through the mud every time he acts like he does, because he is acting like a prat. So unless you want to be known as a clan that's full of prats, I'd suggest you get rid of this player and say, look, bad behavior. What you're doing is you're putting us in a bad light. We don't want you in our clan. And if ever you get a request to work platoon with WarPig1977, refuse it. Put him on your blacklist so that everyone knows that this is a troll. All he likes doing is breaking the rules of the game. So there you go. Thanks for watching.